What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 2022 Chevy Trailblazer RS. So the Trailblazer was first introduced last year, at least this iteration of the nameplate. Obviously, the Trailblazer existed in the Chevy lineup back in the day, and it looked a whole lot different than this. So we first took a look at this last year in the 2021 model year, but here in 2022, there's a couple additional standard features, which we'll take a look at in just a sec. And we're just gonna be taking a look at the RS trim because I have not actually done a video on an RS trim Trailblazer on this channel before. So we'll take a look at everything that this has to offer. Let's get into it. So you have a couple different engine options on the Trailblazer. The RS here has the 1.3 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque, 30 miles per gallon highway, 26 miles per gallon city. As far as the front fascia goes, again, they are doing the split headlight design across the board, basically on all Chevys. Hey, we still got a little bit of a sticker here. A little ASMR maybe. I've done a video on the 2022 Chevy Equinox redesign, and it has a similar type of split here with these low profile LED daytime running lights and then your high beams and your main beams down here in this little portion. Same with the 2022 Chevy Bolt EUV. If you're interested in videos on that, I've got a whole playlist. I'll have it linked in the description. It allows the front headlights to look very, very aggressive, and it gives you this nice split design. So your top part of your grille with your bow tie and your daytime running lights, it's up here. Then you have a split piece here. This is almost like a gray, like a gunmetal gray look to it. And then it splits to the bottom part of the fascia here with your RS badging and your mains and high beams right here. You also have LED fog lights down here as well on the bottom of the lip here. And it's just all body colored pieces there outside of this gunmetal gray accent that runs across the middle. Again, blacked out Chevy bow tie here on the RS, as well as that black and red RS trim. Moving on back, the RS Trailblazer here sits on 18-inch two-tone aluminum alloy wheels. Really, really cool design. I'm a huge fan of these. Black cladding around the wheels. Moving on back, you have these black side mirrors. They are manual folding, but they have blind spot monitoring and they are heated. No camera system at all underneath, so no HD surround vision camera. You also have the two-tone roof here. So this is the all black roof mixed with the white look here. It's a really cool design. A lot of vehicles are doing this. The Hyundai Venue does this, and there's one other one. And you have quite a few different color options that you can choose from. So if you want to do the two-tone roof with various colors, you definitely can. It's a really cool look. Keyless access here on the door panels. No sunroof there up top, but you do have the black roof rails here. You just have black trim that runs around the windows here. So moving to the back of the Trailblazer here, you'll notice a couple things. You do have LED tail lights here. You've got a little bit of a spoiler, brake light, rear wiper, tinted rear glass, body colored piece that runs here, blacked out Chevy bow tie. Again, blacked out Trailblazer, all-wheel drive badging, and then your RS badging. And that all is part of that RS package as well. You also have a really cool like faux carbon fiber kind of ground effects here, and then dual exhaust tips as well, which is again part of that RS package. You may notice that there's no rear camera in the traditional spot here. It's actually at the bottom where the handle to the liftgate is, which I commented on in my original Trailblazer video as the weirdest placement for a rear camera that I've seen in quite a while. So definitely takes a minute to get used to that. And another strange omission here, you can get this as an option, so I'm not sure why it doesn't have it. This is a fully, well, nearly fully loaded RS Trailblazer here. This has almost every feature under the sun, but one of the things that it doesn't have, for some reason, is that automatic power liftgate, but you can get it. But this is just a manual liftgate. But once you do get that tailgate lifted, you have access to about 25 cubic feet of cargo space. With the rear seats up, if you go ahead and fold those puppies down, you'll get about 54 cubic feet of cargo space. So pretty good size. Up underneath the floorboard here, you do have your tools and a spare tire. Not bad at all there. But that's pretty much everything here on the exterior. Let's go ahead and hop inside the cabin. All right, so hopping inside this Trailblazer's cabin, I've gotta say, having just sat in a 2022 Equinox, I much prefer the cabin here in the Trailblazer. Now that may just be because it's an RS and I love the RS accents. Maybe when I get to sit in the 2022 Equinox RS, I'll change my mind. But for now, I really like what the Trailblazer has going on in here. It's a very interesting looking cabin. While cheap in some places, no doubt, to get to that price point, I think what they've got going on isn't bad at all. So starting up front, as always, you have this leather wrapped heated steering wheel, very like sporty steering wheel. So you have kind of a regular leather up top, then you have a perforated leather, and then you have kind of a gloss plastic down at the bottom. but it is the most updated Chevy steering wheel. So unlike the Equinox, which has the outdated steering wheel, even on the most recent model year, the Trailblazer here has the most updated steering wheel. So it's got the blacked out Chevy bow tie, the updated adaptive cruise control buttons, and then the controls for your little digital cluster up front are right here as well. Your light controls are over on the left side. As always, you also have your fog light button right there. Lights and wipers on these stocks, nothing different there. Moving past that, you do have 2 analog gauges and then a little color cluster in between those. Now the gauges have a cool little light around them, so it adds that red accent to them that really makes them stand out as part of the RS badge. Window controls here, you only have an automatic one-touch up and down driver window. The rest are just regular automatic windows. It's a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. A couple vents up here as well. Moving on down from that, you have the Chevy MyLink infotainment system. This is the 8-inch infotainment center, most recent one. All the updated graphics and functionality, Bluetooth, Sirius XM, AM, FM radio, 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot, different user profiles. You have your apps in there. You have your high definition rear camera, which makes a huge difference here versus the Equinox that I looked at. Having that HD rear camera is awesome. You also have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. They added that in about mid-model year for the Trailblazer, so that's a nice touch. It was kind of a software update midway through. You also have your climate controls on screen here as well. Moving on down from that, you have automatic climate control here on the RS. You also have the heated seat buttons right here, which you can enable or disable depending on what you want to do. You have this unique looking center console area. So you have a 12-volt outlet, SD card, USB-C, USB-A, 3.5mm jack, and a Qi-enabled wireless charging pad. None of that's really out of the ordinary. You kind of have like this meshy, like hexagonal look on either side of this little charging pad area with these bars. It's a really cool design. I really like the look of it. Moving on back from that, you do have a button where you can disable your auto start stop engine, lane keeping assist, traction control, sport mode. You have your all-wheel drive button. You can enable or disable that right there. Then you have this leather-wrapped shift knob with a little RS red accent on it, which is a nice touch. Also, it has this red accent stitching on the bottom part. You have your manual mode buttons on the left side. This is a 9-speed automatic transmission here with the 1.3 liter, 2 cup holders, and then you have what I can only assume is a smartphone spot because it looks like that. Unfortunately, my 12 Pro Max does not fit in that spot. So your smartphone may be able to fit, mine does not, unfortunately. This little armrest here has a tray that you can remove. No more ports in there, but it's a nice deep pocket if you want to add extra storage there. An auto dimming rearview mirror up top, which is nice. OnStar buttons, you have your dome lights up top. No sunroof, as you can see at all, since you have that black painted roof. Now, as far as the cabin goes, again, I mentioned I really enjoy the look of this cabin. Again, cheap in some places, no doubt about that, but you're also talking about this specific price point, which is right around $31,000 for this RS fully loaded model. So you've got a lot of hard touch plastic, textured material with accent stitching. Again, one of my favorite things is that brushed red look around the vents. You have some chrome on there as well, leatherette material on the door panels, some glossy black plastic right here, and then again, you have that glossy black plastic on the steering wheel as well. So really, there's a ton of red accents in here on the RS and just some nice cabin details. You also have a Bose premium audio system here on the RS trim. Now, as far as seating surfaces go, these are the jet black seats with the red accent. They're kind of a two-way seat. They're a cloth with a leatherette on top of it. So for the most part, they're cloth, but some of the more bolstered parts have a little bit of a leatherette on them. They're comfortable. I'd say definitely comfortable, very squishy, but this red accent is a nice touch as well. The driver is a 10-way power adjustable seat with 2-way lumbar support. Passenger is a 4-way manually adjustable seat. Again, they are both heated in the front seat. You have the same type of look in the back, no rear vents, unfortunately, but you do have a 120-volt outlet in the back for charging things like a laptop or an iPad or something like that. 1 USB-A port and 1 USB-C port as well for charging in the back. So again, this version of the nameplate was just released last year in 2021. So you're not going to see any significant changes here for 2022. There are a couple small ones. Again, the heated steering wheel is now an option on the LT trim, and it is standard on the Active and the RS. And then there is also roof rack cross rails and a trailering package with a trailer hitch harness and bezels. And those are all new dealer installed options. You also have 4 new paint color options. You have crimson, blue glow, vivid orange, and mahogany red. And those are all the significant changes for 2022. You also have a plethora of safety features here on the RS. Chevy's Safety Assist system comes with automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, forward collision alert, and then we also added on the driver confidence package, which is a $345 package, which includes rear park assist, rear cross traffic alert, lane change alert with side blind zone alert, and you have the rear vision camera as well. All right, so hopping here in the back seat, kind of give you guys an idea of what it's like back here. It's not terrible. I have very little headroom though, and I'm about 6'1", and my shins are bumping up against the front seat in the position that I would have it at 6'1" if I were driving, so just keep that in mind. You do have a map pocket back here, but like I mentioned, 120 volt outlet, one USB-A port, one USB-C port, no rear vents. And then if you fold down the little center part, you get 2 cup holders and a nice little armrest. And I do think you could fit 2 adults pretty comfortably back here. It's not the most spacious back seat you're ever gonna see, but surprisingly for the size of this vehicle, it's pretty comfortable. All right, so we're gonna take the RS Trailblazer here for a little bit of a spin. Let's go ahead and get a start up. And we will test not only regular acceleration, but also if you switch it to sport mode, what the acceleration's like in that case. So that was just regular, and I think a lot like the Equinox that I'm literally making this video directly after making my Equinox video, so that's why I'm kind of comparing the two, but they're also right around the same price point and very similar in size. The Trailblazer obviously is a little bit smaller, but there's a lot more acceleration noise than there is actual power to the wheels. And this is, again, the all-wheel drive model RS. So I think it sounds bigger than it is basically what it boils down to. But we'll go ahead and get it onto this road and try it in sport mode as well. Give it a little bit of juice. Again, it's not slow. None of these cars are slow necessarily unless you're driving like a base model Crosstrek or something. It's one of the slowest cars I've ever driven. It's definitely not as zippy as some other vehicles you can get in the segment. But let's go ahead and try this adaptive cruise control out. 37 miles per hour. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just boost it up a little bit though. See how well it keeps us away from this car in front of me. Starting to slow down here. Again, I don't have my foot on the brake at all. If I change the following distance a little bit, this car in front of me slowed down all the way, and it is yet to start slowing down. I don't know about that. Again, I'm seeing if there's any tug from the lane keep assist. Yeah, there's a little bit there. Again, it's not really slowing me down to this car in front of me. I do have the gap distance set really low, so maybe that was why. All right, it's doing it now a little bit. It's starting to slow me down. So this car was getting a little bit close to me here. Let's talk about accessibility here with the infotainment system. Again, it's far enough away from the steering wheel to where you don't get any awkward bumping with the steering wheel when trying to use it. And the screen's large enough to where all the buttons are easily accessible for both driver and passenger, so really no problems there. None with the climate control system either. I think that's perfectly fine as far as usability. Everything's very clearly laid out and no real issues there. Acceleration is not the best, say that much. The adaptive cruise control works decently well. A couple times where it fluked out on me, but I think for the most part it works pretty well. As far as cabin noise, I'd say it's pretty low. I think the acoustics that they did with the glass here, they did a good job. Nice solid door panels as well, so no real issues there, I don't think. It's not the most, it's not a luxury cabin. It's not completely dead to outside noise, but I'd say it's pretty good. Also, I've seen a lot of other reviewers talk about the ride quality when it comes to smooth versus bumpy roads. So like they say that anytime you hit kind of a rough road, the ride really goes to hell. But I haven't really noticed that as much. Again, I haven't taken it on any kind of crazy beat up highways or back roads or anything. It feels relatively smooth to me. It definitely, the bumps are more audible, but it feels like it handles them pretty well, which is nice. So brake test here. Yeah, the brakes feel good. Very responsive. As far as steering response, it's a little bit delayed actually. So I feel like I'm turning and then the response is sent to the wheels a little bit after. Again, it's always important to emphasize that you're not buying the Trailblazer for the most exhilarating driving experience, right? You're getting it for something to get you around town in a safe and effective and efficient way. I think for that purpose, the Trailblazer is a great choice. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think about the 2022 Chevy Trailblazer RS trim? You think it's pretty sick? I do. Let's have a conversation down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.